Tonight on the Guide to Movies podcast, BrandoCritic joins us to chat about Winnie the Pooh becoming a murderer, Warner Brothers finding it's Kevin Feige, Matt Shackman jumping from film to film in terms of what he wants to direct. Apparently, it's his world. We're just all living in it. And the Don't Worry, Darling drama that really has me titillated.
Everyone is part of the family at this point.
It didn't do my fan fiction idea that I had. So this movie was garbage.
What is this? You are a monster beyond all belief.
Put them all in the things and let them do the thing. You know what I mean?
How? You're lucky to have me back.
You're never gonna get 60 million people because you're not a Super Bowl. Shut up!
So chaotic.
Welcome to the Guide to Movies podcast. I am Joe. He is Sean, and we are joined by the one, the only BrandoCritic. How are you up there?
I'm good, man. It's been a while. I was always looking forward to being back on. So thank you so much for the invitation. It's going well.
Glad to have you. Thanks for being flexible this week as we had to shift dates a little bit. Anything new north of the border?
Hockey season's coming in about a month. Everyone's
Can't
just
wait.
waiting for it to get colder outside. It's been really hot this summer, so
Yeah.
I think everyone's gonna get it. Everyone's getting tired of it. That's what I'm trying to say. The heat is making my brain melt. So, yeah, we're looking forward to hockey season.
Never fun. And over here on the East Coast, down in the States, it's like we're about to have probably our 3 weeks of fall and then winter. There's like no fall anymore.
Yeah,
We
fair
get
enough.
one beautiful 70-degree day, and then it's not -10.
There you go.
Even worse for you up there, Sean. It's so much colder, even just a couple states north.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing?
I am riding on about 2 hours of sleep because I was super worried about having the first day with the students today. So that went well, but of course, I decided not to sleep and worry about it. So right now, if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see that my eyes are pretty much completely shut. I apologize for all of a sudden starting to sleep talk halfway through this, maybe.
Hey, we love it. Makes the great content. What's the equivalent of syllabus day in K through 12 now? Or middle school,
syllabus
high school?
day. I
Oh,
still do a syllabus day. They try some of the people try to do an introductory math problem or something like that. And I'm just no, I have a bunch of crap to talk about with these kids, and they don't listen to it at all because they're hearing it in every class. But it's I'm not gonna throw something new at them. I'm gonna wait till the second day to do that.
I hear you. You're the teacher I would like. This day's supposed to be easy. Let's dive into what we have to talk about tonight. We have two trailers to get to. Both are very strange for their own reasons. And we're going to start off with Weird, the Al Yankovic story. This is starring... first of all, we should say that this is a Roku channel original, which I kind of love, because when you see the trailer, you probably expect worse than we actually got, at least if you were me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the trailer was as janky as I thought it would be, but it's Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al. Rainn Wilson is in this as well. Very, very interesting what we are seeing in this trailer. But Brando, what were your thoughts when you watched this? Is this something that you actually are interested in?
Absolutely. Well, number one, I would love for Daniel Radcliffe to kind of escape Harry Potter. It's never going to happen, but I'm glad that he's finally getting other roles that are somewhat, I don't want to say necessarily big, but they do have some weight behind them. They do have some gravitas. He played Weird Al. That is a statement. I guess he's not just Harry Potter and he showed up in a couple other things. A couple other actors I can think of, Mark Hamill could never escape Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Rupert Grint could never escape Ron Weasley. And his career never really took off. But Daniel Radcliffe's career is still going strong. So I hope that this works out for him. And when I watch the trailer, I'm you see all of those Hallmark cliched, oh, well, that's the one thing that we need you to be is weird. And then, of course, there's the drug problem with the musician. And, of course, the dad or the mom doesn't really we think that you should not be yourself. It's so on the nose, but I think that's the point. It's part of the joke. So I think that it's going to be a really fun tongue-in-cheek movie, and I'm excited for it.
It reminds me of a satirical Rocket Man in a way. The way that it was presented. And it's funny what you're saying with Daniel Radcliffe. I completely agree. He was doing those weird movies for a while that were interesting in their own way, but Swiss Army Man, Escape from Pretoria, Guns Akimbo, Like just wild ass movies before being the villain in The Lost City, which I forgot about.
Just the most erratic performance. He's like, he then like, after like 8 Harry Potter films, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go on stage and do Equus.
Show my day.
It's like the weirdest thing ever. And he's just like, I think I love that he did all those weird movies, even though they didn't help with his career, because they did really separate him from Harry Potter, I think. And now, like, it's easier to see him almost as Weird Al than it is to see him as Harry Potter. This movie is like pretty much close to a carbon copy of Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story. And I'm absolutely okay with that, because that's a masterpiece of a film. And I think this will still continue to do the same ridiculous stuff, including the affair with Madonna, which, I didn't Google it, but I think that's fake. And if it's real, and that's hysterical in its own right, but I'm assuming it's fake and is hysterical anyway. What I like about this movie is that this trailer, what I like about this trailer is that it definitely improved upon itself. There was a trailer that came out a while ago with a lot of fourth wall breaking, and the tone was weird. Everyone else was excited about it, and I was like, I don't know about this. I think this is like, diving too much in. And this one is still on the nose, but it's the right amount of self-aware where it doesn't just consistently insist upon itself. And I think that that's like going to be the secret to this one, where now I'm actually excited for it after really not being excited for it before.
So apparently Madonna and Weird Al have never met.
Okay, that makes more sense. I knew that was the case almost while watching this trailer, but still, it's like, I don't know, man, the 80s.
It's got to be something in his head, right? Like,
I think it's just like this is like a completely like fictional biopic.
Yeah, it's a parody of a biopic.
Yeah.
Weird Al is famous for making parodies of bigger songs. This is like the parody version of the music biopic. Like, it hits all the beats to it. Like when the parents said, "We think that you should not be yourself," like just the most unsupportive parents you could think of. It's right on the nose, and you're going, okay, I know exactly what it's going for here. It's not going, well, this is the way to really care about the characters because their parents don't care. No, it's parodying those music biopics we've seen before, like you said, Joe, with Rocket Man and recent ones like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm here for it. What's the Weird Al song that comes to mind when you think of him?
Oh no,
eBay. I mean, I just went to the Backstreet Boys concert, so when I bought it on eBay, it's pretty good. Amish Paradise is hilarious.
Amish Paradise. I always think of Eat It.
Eat It.
It's a good one.
Do you know what Trapped in the Drive-Thru?
Trapped in the Drive-Thru is
Is that Trapped in the Closet remix?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that's so funny. So funny.
He also did Madonna's Like a Surgeon, so I'm sure that will be incorporated.
Or Ride and Dirt, or White and Nerdy was the first one that I heard, and then of course The Saga Begins, which is the American Pie Phantom Menace one.
Oh yeah, that was a great one. The Saga Begins is the first one that popped up when I just Googled him. Apparently, he did the theme song for Captain Underpants too. So there you go. Polka Face instead of Poker Face.
Polka. I haven't heard that one. I like Word Crimes as opposed to Blurred Lines.
Is great.
My Bologna, which is in the trailer.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny. Let's shift gears here because we have a totally different one, and we're gonna watch it together. Because I think this is something that needs to be shared with the masses here. This is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the cinematic adventure of the year coming up here. Enjoy.
There's some very known production companies.
You know, you're the first person I ever shown this place.
I'm so special.
But soon, we'll be close and love. We should be close now.
We're not going to find them.
We will. Who? Piglet? Eeyore? We were friends for many years, and they're out there.
Christopher, I need to leave.
I love that it's written just on like cardboard. Eeyore.
Yeah.
This place is kind of cold.
I got to be honest, the production value is better than expected.
I mean,
I don't know what that says, but
it's pretty damn rough. That's a low bar, I think.
Don't
Laura said.
There's someone else outside.
What was that?
So it's Winnie the Pooh and Piglet?
They don't really show Piglet, but I'm assuming it's
Oh,
Piglet.
there's a pig. Pig ears here, right here.
Oh, that's Piglet. Okay, there we go.
Friends, why are you doing this, please? I would have never left that minute, I swear.
So that's supposed to be Christopher Robin, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
All right.
I got a question after this. I'm so curious.
I love that title card.
It's a great title. Yeah, so those are the two.
Brando, what's up?
How in the world did Disney let this happen?
So it's funny you asked that because someone else tweeted about it earlier and was like, I can't believe that they're taking a Disney character. Winnie the Pooh is way before Disney.
Sure.
And the copyright's up. So it's now fair game in the United States. So anyone can take the character Winnie the Pooh.
I understand that. But what I'm curious is like, you make other Peter Pan movies, right? Like I've seen so many different versions of it. Cinderella, like there's an anime version. Like I understand that. But I feel like with how freaking big of a company Disney is and with the amount of lawyers that it has, I can understand making another Winnie the Pooh movie, but Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, like this is not just another retelling of it. This is Halloween, Friday the 13th version of Winnie the Pooh.
I'm surprised that intended to be told.
I was surprised that Disney, like I don't know the backstory of it, but I'm sure that Disney had some sort of a fight to try to, kind of block this from being made because I think it was Disney who actually extended the copyright laws because of Mickey Mouse because they could not let anyone touch Mickey Mouse. Like I understand that, so I'm curious of how they were able to go like, well, I guess we're just gonna have this crazy horror film with Winnie the Pooh characters.
The difference there is that they created Mickey Mouse.
I guess so.
Winnie the Pooh was a literary character way before Disney came along and made their film. Honestly, they just don't have any legal standing. Now that it's out of copyright.
Yeah. I just feel like there could have been some loophole, some sleazy tactic, like, and I agree with you. There's no legal standing, but I would have been shocked to find out that they didn't do anything. I'm sure they
might have not cared. Like, honestly, they might have been like, you know what? The last animated movie did okay, but not great. The Christopher Robin movie scared the shit out of everybody. So I think it was probably scarier than the Blood and Honey movie. And I think that they said, you know what? We're about to lose the copyright on it. And honestly, who's gonna is anyone really gonna make a crazy movie out of this? So they let the copyright go, and then this movie came about, and there's probably people at Disney being like, "Oh shit."
Well, then maybe they do it next time. Maybe someone wants to do some snuff film of Lady and the Tramp. They go, "No, we're putting our foot down. We're gonna try anything to fight it, even though there might be no legal standing."
Yeah.
So
I think there's a huge missed opportunity because that theme song of the Disney show of Winnie the Pooh could be just rewritten as the creepiest song ever. Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Oh, won't you go? Oh, won't you take me, please?
You're going with the Disney Afternoon version, right?
The Disney Afternoon version. I'm very happy that was understood. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're not going with the 100 Acre Wood, though. Deep in the hunt.
That's the one where that weird dude started reading books and oh god.
Started reading books.
Yeah, and then they became the animated part. That was just a strange thing. He's bouncing on the letters of the book and stuff.
Oh, it was cute.
He was
Where's
not
your
a fan
sense
of
of childhood?
I guess that it was a lovely childhood moment, I guess. But
I just looked up. I think I got the 100 Acre Wood one. I don't know though if this is
deep in the 100. And he goes, "There's a donkey named Eeyore is his friend, and Kanga and Little Roo." That's the original.
Oh, this is the sing along.
Yeah. And there's Owl, but most of all, Winnie the Pooh. This is my ringtone, by the way, guys.
Now I know it.
If he's leading a cult, they could sing this.
I was just going to make a comment, and we're going to ignore that. All right, let's move on to what we've been watching.
Oh, Jesus.
We have to start with all. I think all three of us have seen this. Brendo, I saw you posted a review of 3,000 Years of Longing, correct?
Was that a film that I watched? Was it? Is that what people are saying?
Let's start off with Sean here then.
Yeah.
Sean, 3,000 Years of Longing. Give
First
us
of
your
all,
thoughts.
I love this movie for what it did to all of us, which is we are just across the board on this thing. And that it happens so rarely where just the three of us just span the entire rating system. And that's what makes it great. I was very pleasantly surprised by this movie. I liked it quite a bit. I think that but however, at the same time, this is not a movie that I'll like die on a hill defending either, because I can totally understand why people did not get it's a crazy, insane, zany movie. So I do understand when people don't get it. I love the idea of the two of them together in a hotel room, like a weird ass "Good Luck to You, Leo Grande," and it's just and like they're just like swapping stories. I sort of like enjoyed that aspect of it. And then I'd say that that's where it lost me. And Joe, you mentioned how it's where it lost you, is the third act, the ending where they left the hotel room. And, it was just one of these things where they tried to like shove a whole bunch of messages in there, like about technology and about love and loss. And they could have had that a little bit better. They could have tried that out a little bit better. I knew what they were trying to do. I think they failed at it. And what I was telling you, Joe, is one of the biggest sins of all is there was about 4 or 5 fake out endings that I literally got up out of my seat because it cut to black for about 5 seconds. And I got up out of my seat and then, we're keeping on going, because it had like the like feel of the end of the movie. And it was Return of the King all over the place. So that was like maybe my biggest issue. I still thought this was a lot of fun. I thought I sort of got what it was trying to say. I wish they focused on Tilda's character a little bit more, because they seemed to focus on the life of the genie and not much about the life of her. And I thought that perspective got a little bit wishy-washy, because it's like, well, she started telling the story, so why doesn't she tell a little bit more about it here and there? I first of all, just at this point, George Miller, obviously we look at Fury Road, and that was a huge swing, and it was a connection. This was a gigantic swing as well. Not as much of a connection. Still visually fun, still zany and odd, and looked pretty fake and digital at times, but it was kind of the artistic nature of it that was weird. So I liked this movie. I didn't love it, but I was very surprised.
Now for the opposing view, go to Brandon.
Well, I agree with you that I like the idea of two people just talking in a room and just sharing stories. But the problem is that for me, one, neither character is very likable or we can connect to at all. Number two, like you said, we don't know anything about Tilda Swinton's character, really. We don't really understand her backstory or really see her side of anything. And three, it's not the genie telling a story about him. He's telling stories about other people, and he's just witnessing all of it. You know what I mean? So the whole time I'm just bored. And then, like you said, the fake out endings, I'm like, oh my God, just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. And I don't hate this movie. I'm not sitting here going this is the worst movie ever, because there's nothing bad in it. There's I said this in my review too. Films generally, for me, they warrant some sort of an emotional response. If it's a great movie, it's joy, it's excitement, heartache, laughter. If it's a terrible movie, then it might be anger, resentment, fear, just terrible emotions. This one had nothing. I had no emotional response at all. I was just kind of straight faced. So honestly, this is the first time I'm thinking about the movie since doing the review, because it just kind of all right, it's weird. People ask me sometimes, what's your worst movie of 2017? Throw a random movie or throw a random year up there. And I go, I don't normally think about this stuff. Yeah. It's not like I'm just going through my life and thinking about all the bad movies that I've seen. I just move on. Yeah. And man, that movie was just came and went super quickly. It didn't have anything that I could really gravitate towards.
I completely agree. I don't think I'll be thinking about this one much moving forward. I had more of a down the middle reaction to it. As Sean mentioned earlier, I really enjoyed the first half, and then it just completely lost me the second half, because I love films where people are just sitting around talking. I've learned, and it's funny you bring up Good Luck Leo Grande, or Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, because that's exactly what that was. Just sitting in a hotel room talking about sex and maybe pleasuring one another here and there. But I thought Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba were really solid in this. I thought the story, George Miller didn't know where he wanted the story to go. And ultimately, I keep thinking back to when I did the press for the press junket for this, and they talked about how they were doing Zoom meetings to discuss the story. And Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton were helping with this, were helping with the story. And I'm like, well, what were you helping with? Like, what was the original idea? Because it just completely lost any magic that it had. I was kind of mesmerized by the storytelling. I was expecting it all to tie in and go somewhere, and you never really got that, like, well, here's how it impacted me ultimately, and here's what it means for you, Tilda. That just bothered me.
I think I liked the very, very end. I didn't like this third act at all. It was just kind of like this like separate mess. But in the very end, it's just like, like it has that storybook like fable ending that they do again, where I'm like, okay, they framed at least those two parts properly. And like I think it is about this like sort of love and loss situation. I'm explaining the theme to it. I don't think it did a good job with this theme. Like, I don't think it did a good job with it. But like, there's like a love and a loss thing, because she's someone that doesn't believe that she's happy with being alone. She's cool with being alone. He's someone that hey, find your desires, go for your desires, and everything like that. And she's like, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm content. And I think that they both sort of met in the middle on that a little bit. And I think that was like the interesting aspect of that. Yeah, I'm not going to defend the end of this movie. I weirdly did like enjoy this, and just I think how it looked, and I had like a smile on my face, which is just odd for me to like have that in a movie. I don't often do that. I normally I have a little sourpuss on my face.
The visuals and the soundtrack were great.
Yeah,
they were great.
Oh, the score was really good. I was very impressed by that score. Yeah.
Moving on a little bit, I'll touch on two real quick. Two surprises for me, honestly. One was The Invitation. So this is getting panned across the board, and I was expecting worse when I saw it, and I actually had a fine time with it. I thought it was solid for what it was, but it's very clear that it was neutered. It should be rated R, and it came out like a day after it released that there is an R cut coming. So it clearly was trimmed down to PG-13 by studio request. Nathalie Emmanuel, it's her first lead role, and she's incredible in it. I really liked her. She was really solid, as was Tomas Dougherty. He was really solid as well as the Lord of the Manor, and ultimately it's a vampire story. I mean, if you saw a preview, you get that. I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, there's definitely holes. There's definitely glaring opportunities. But I went into it. I mean, I realized halfway through that there was probably an original story there that was once again neutered. That was cut out, and they weren't allowed to realize what the original plan was. And that was confirmed the following day. So I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm not going to knock the filmmaker for what was clearly studio interference. It's a little predictable. But the performances really made it, and I think that's what was cool about it. It's like they went in there knowing what they had and just decided to give it their all, and that really made it enjoyable and kept me hooked the entire time. I'm excited to see what that R cut is. I can already tell you like a few of the items that are going to change, or a few of the pieces that are going to change are the fucks. There's a hilarious supporting role from Courtney Taylor in this, and she's absolutely hilarious, and she just has some one-liners that are so realistic as to like what would be said by a friend if her friend was in the situation that Nathalie Emmanuel's character was. But there's a couple fucks that get changed to fricks and stuff that, and I was just like, oh no, that was clearly changed for the rating. So I'm looking forward to more fucks, more gore, and more sex, apparently.
So, Joe, I do have to ask this, because this was my main issue with this movie that I haven't seen yet, by the way. And I plan on seeing it, but I saw the trailer like 10 times. And without giving it away, and I'm not one to complain about this usually because so many people are, but like, did Did the trailer give away literally the entire movie? Because there are some scenes that seem like third act reveals in this movie I don't know, but
honestly, I don't remember much of the trailer. There's, like I said, a lot of it's predictable. The reasons why things are happening, I think, aren't in the trailer, but you get a good idea of where things are going.
okay.
And I'll say though that that's not the crux of it. Like a lot of this film, what it deals with is sort of the wooing of the main character. And there's, you don't really get to like the crazy vampire shit until probably two-thirds in. Which at first I wasn't sure how I felt about that, but then I actually really liked it because it spent time with the characters, and that was what I think really pulled me towards it. So I'm excited to see what the actual R-rated cut looks like. Seeing the original film that was intended, I think that's definitely going to make it a better film. The other one I saw that really surprised me was Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. This is a mockumentary that is just basically a systematic takedown of corporate religion, essentially, of financial gains in religion and big religion. It's absolutely hysterical. I'm very surprised that it didn't get more play because it's the first film from these sisters who are escaping my mind right now, the names of them. I want to say the Ebo sisters.
Yeah.
And it's just really solidly done. It's not one of those movies that's going to have you laughing your ass off the entire time, but it's going to give you a steady chuckle throughout because you see what they're building towards and how each line is intentionally there to break down the stereotype, or to break down this facade, I should say, not stereotype, of big religion. Sterling K. Brown is great in it, but Regina Hall steals the fucking show. Like, she is absolutely hilarious. Everything that she does in this movie is just like 1000% committal. I loved everything about it. Do you got any of you haven't seen this yet, Sean? Oh,
This will be my Thursday film.
Interesting. Okay.
Hopefully I don't go to another OAR concert, but this time it'll probably be my Thursday film.
Did you see this, Brando?
No, Darren's gonna see it for Movie Scene Canada instead. I chose I'm blanking here because I think, like, when does that one come out? It comes out this week, right?
This Friday, yep.
Okay, yeah, I think I actually don't know what I was doing to not say yes to this one. I think I was maybe just needed a break, and then I think I'm going back onto the next ones I have. Yeah, Pinocchio, and then Barbarian, and then maybe even Medieval. We might do Medieval, and then the weekend after that is even busier with like Do Revenge, Goodnight Mommy, and The Woman King. And
I can't wait for The Woman King.
I'm not too sure about see how they run. That might not be getting a screening here, but I kind of have to pace myself too. So that might
it's tough.
Yeah.
This is definitely one, I think, if you catch it on TV or, when it's on streaming or something, it's going to be on Peacock this Friday.
So yeah, I saw it's going to be out. It's a day and date release, really?
Correct.
Wow. I didn't realize that. So maybe I'll just wait for Peacock. But
yeah. It's solid. I think you'll enjoy it, Sean, knowing your humor and knowing like how you like intelligently paced.
Also, just Sterling K. Brown, anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I did my top 10 countdown with him, and it's weird because he hasn't been in much stuff, so a lot of it was like weird animated shows and stuff. But everyone was loving that one because it's just like, oh yeah, like this, and this. I'm like, This Is Us, which is like a pretty like C rating show, kind of pretty average show. He's just like top tier in it, so like I'm all for it.
Just wait until you get Regina Hall in this.
And then also I love Regina Hall as well, and I'm just happy Regina, like, because she was in Master, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank God she's going to be in something else, and I get to see her in something else. It's not a travesty like Master or the Oscars.
And I was struggling. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Master while watching this. I was like, this is such a different performance, and you can tell when someone's allowed to flex their muscle and do what they're good at. And she definitely was here. Sean, what have you been watching aside from absolutely fucking everything?
Yeah, so this was my last week was my last big week of freedom. So I had I just kept on going, watching everything possible. But like the most ones that stand out right now for me are Samaritan, the Sylvester Stallone superhero comic book. movie. This was a pretty rough movie, man. I was hoping for something kind of cool, and this was just something that like really did crawl. It was like everything was there on paper for like a pretty cool idea, a pretty decent movie. Didn't work. I saw the ending like a mile away, and I am not someone who calls twist endings ever. Like I never do. I'm always surprised. And this one, I was just like halfway through, I was like, oh, I can see what they're trying to say. Okay. Like, and so that was something where I just like I really didn't like this. Sylvester Stallone was fun. He was solid in it. But other than that, there were moments of this that were like kind of unintentionally laughable. Like when the villain gets up to try to like turn the people against him and everything, they just immediately turn to chaos. Like they don't question it for like a quick second. And like it's just like, everybody ravage the stores, riot and loot. And they're like, everyone's just like, yeah, like instantaneously. I was like, or there's another time where like the bad guys go into an apartment and without even looking, just shoot up bullets everywhere, up and down. I'm like, this is like a Dan Harmon animated show right now. It's just pure silliness. So Samaritan was like pretty tough.
That's actually really funny that you just said Dan Harmon.
Because I'm watching Solar Opposites. Oh, that's not even Dan Harmon, but that's just Justin Roiland. But it is just something where it's just like this like silly spoof of like dumb action movies, and I'm like, but they're like kind of dead serious. So
did you see my dad's review of it?
Well, so it's so funny you said that. This is it.
I'll give Samaritan 3 thumbs out of 5. Plot twist at the end.
And this is the thing. I even forgot. Like you show. I saw that before I saw it. I saw that review, and then all of a sudden, I forgot that like he said that part about the plot twist. So I wasn't even expecting a plot twist, and I just said, "Oh no, they're gonna do that." And so it was just sort of bland.
There you go.
But the other one I saw just yesterday, and I'm really glad I saw this yesterday so I could talk about it, is Breaking. This was at Sundance. And by the way, the title of Sundance was like 849 or something like that, which I now realize would be a pretty cool title, but is also a pretty terrible title until you are at that part of the movie. So
it was 892.
892, yeah. So like I would not have, see, already that's why it's a terrible title for a movie because of that, because it's 3 digits. But I was not a fan of that title, but Breaking is sort of a pretty bland title as well. I'm not going to critique the title because the movie's awesome. But the movie is really cool. The movie's great. I will say, like, you're watching Michael K. Williams in one of his final roles, and I won't lie, I did pretty much shed a tear because it's just like we lost just such an amazing actor with this. We have Nicole Bahari in this, who I haven't seen since Miss Juneteenth. A few years back, and she is really good in this. She plays the bank manager. And then we have John Boyega in It's Not Going to Happen. It's just flat out not going to happen, but this is an Oscar-worthy performance. Like, this is like winning.
He's really
Oscar-worthy
good.
Performance.
He's
this
really
is
good.
like he just soaks himself into this character. He both terrifies you and also breaks your heart, like within seconds of each other. I can't really imagine this kind of stuff. It's really, really wonderful. And so if you're going to see it at all, like John Boyega is the reason. And, he's not starving. He was in Star Wars movies and stuff like that. He's been in like movies and TV since then. But this is the kind of guy that needs to be in 3 movies a year and needs to be getting way more priority parts. Because this was just, what he did with this was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, solid movie. I really enjoyed it when I saw it at Sundance. I was kind of blown away at how good he was in it. And it just goes to show, like, he's just an actor that needs those opportunities.
Yeah, I really hope he gets more of them because this blew me away.
Yeah. Brando, what do you got? You've been having yourself quite the rewatch for, I guess, in terms of the fact that they're older films, but I'm really interested to see what you thought of them.
Well, I mean, I feel like this summer I haven't rewatched or gone back to watch older films too much just because it's been such a busy summer. It's like the girlfriend and I have like loaded up every single weekend, and then just during the week it's just watching the new movies, and there hasn't been that many spectacular films this summer. Like I saw Samaritan, I saw 3,000 Years of Longing. Speaking about the twist, though, I will give credit to my girlfriend. She saw it within the first 10 minutes. She's like, "Oh no, it's him," and I go, "Okay." And then she was right. So I'm like, "Wow, you know what? Maybe you should have my job." So, I wasn't a big fan of that one. But in terms of just the movies that, like, these are all first-time watches. Last night I watched They Live. Somebody sent it to me in the mail about a year ago. And so I was super happy to finally see that. It was on my watch list forever. I'm going to be doing a review for it, but what an amazing premise. I just wish that they explored more of it. So, well, I'll save that for later. One night of just hanging out with the lady, and we just wanted to watch a dumb comedy, and I hadn't seen this one before, was Hall Pass. Someone had told me to go see it because, the Farley brothers, even though they have a lot of bombs, I love Dumb and Dumber. There's something about Mary is super funny. Hall Pass, it's dumb, it's stupid, and I enjoy it. I like white chicks, you know what I mean? Where my critic brain will just say, this is a god-awful movie, but goddamn do I laugh my ass off every time that I see it. So there are many moments.
White Chicks.
The movie
I
White
you
Chicks.
just meant you like white chicks. Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, I'm a
We're a
straight
dating
male,
podcast
so.
now.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, the movie White Chicks. But sure, you can add that too. But yeah, Hall Pass was dumb fun. Pride and Prejudice was definitely one of the movies on the ladies' list. And she's like, well, we got to watch Pride and Prejudice. And I said, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I was dating somebody, and it was her choice for movie night, and she wanted to watch Legally Blonde. And I was not looking forward to it. I see like the pink case, the DVD case, and I'm going, okay, whatever. Let's get the chick flick out of the way. I learned that night to never judge a movie based on its DVD cover.
Based on the color of its case.
Yeah, absolutely. And Legally Blonde was a great movie. So I said, you know what? If I ever watch a movie with a significant other, I will always go in with an open mind. And Pride and Prejudice was really great. I did have to have subtitles because I just couldn't understand what they were saying. It's like very old school, proper, heightened RP, heightened received pronunciation English. But, she was kind of she was like nerding out where, like there's the scene where he kind of like flexes his hand and she's like, there's people do TikToks about this thing. And like when he does this thing with his hand, it means that he's really wanting to love her. And, it was actually pretty fantastic. I have a soft spot for the mushy gushy romance and I really enjoyed it. So yeah. And Keira Knightley was just amazing in that movie. I'm in love with her. Don't tell it to my girlfriend, but yeah, she's fantastic.
It's on the internet now.
Yeah.
When director Joe Wright is in the pocket, it's like truly amazing, and that's one of his movies, and it's just such a great one. Then he does like other weird crap sometimes, like The Soloist, and it's like a little bit tough, but when he is like in the pocket, you get something great from him. I really love the fact that like I always love to blow people's minds where I'm just like, oh yeah, Mr. Darcy in this, Matthew McFadden, who's also in Succession as Tom Weisgam, and everyone's just like, what? Because it's just like they look exactly the opposite, obviously different accents, and but it's hysterical.
Do you guys have a go-to stupid movie? Like one that is bad, but you'll watch whenever it's on, or, if you need to just watch something to pass time?
Con Air.
Con Air? Really?
Easily. If it's ever in the theater, like Sam and I are going to see Con Air in the theater. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. White Chicks. Love Guru.
Love Guru.
I can quote that whole movie. I can quote the whole thing.
Is that the Mike Myers one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I was going to say Ladies Man. So not far
Ladies
off.
Man is a great one.
What's Ladies Man? What's that?
It's with
it's the Tim Meadows SNL sketch, but they did a movie on it.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
It's classic. And that and Idiocracy.
Oh, Idiocracy is pretty smart.
It's smart, but it's also
stupid. It's tough because it's like it is very, very stupid, but it is like terrifying. Like I remember I showed Sam
Luke
that
Wilson,
one,
Jesus.
and she was so scared after because she was like, "This is like kind of accurate and could really happen."
Brandon, you were talking about putting subtitles on. I saw a preview earlier, I guess last week it was, and I immediately said I will not see it in theaters because I need subtitles. The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh,
I didn't this is not a knock. I struggle with deep Irish accents. They're like, I love the language. I love the accent.
It might as well be another language.
But I just like watching that trailer. I was like, I am struggling so much with this.
and this is like old timey too. It's like old timey. Now you can get can't you get like I've never tried them, but can't you get like closed captioning machines if you need to? I think they're for people that can't actually hear, so maybe that's not a good idea. But
Yeah.
I think you can get them.
me and the other 10 critics, I'll be the one asking for that. Let's dive into the news and all that's been happening. We have to start with the crazy Don't Worry, Darling drama. This is just insane to me because this movie is like one of the most anticipated for a lot of people, but now there's so much drama circling around it that it's so juicy. But basically, this is the film that Olivia Wilde directed with Harry Styles, Florence Pugh, Chris Pine, who I always forget is in it because he's just like kind of letting all this shit happen right now. But this is the second film from Wilde. So basically what happened here is Shia LaBeouf was originally supposed to be in the movie. Shia LaBeouf exited, and Olivia Wilde recently said in a Variety interview, I believe it was, that he something about how his acting style and all of that wasn't conducive to a safe environment. And it needed an energy that was incredibly supportive, and all this stuff. Well, after saying all this, Shia LaBeouf said, whoa, and just brought receipts to the table, and said that he provided emails, screenshots of text messages, and video. One of the videos saying it was from Olivia Wilde, basically like begging him to reconsider. She had just finished riding a horse and she was FaceTiming or recording or sending him a recording or something, and said, hey, like, I don't think this is lost. And, I want to figure out what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And then she also says in it, I think this might be a bit of a wake up call for Miss Flo, which is kind of interesting. But long story short, Shia LaBeouf basically said, I left because we couldn't find time with your actors to rehearse. And to his credit, he ended it with, I hope this negatively affects you. I hope none of this negatively affects you and that your film is successful in all the ways you want it to be, which is pretty classy, especially for Shia LaBeouf, who's like pretty skeevy in a lot of ways. Yeah. So then, like, turning over to what's going on with Florence Pugh, people noticed back in the day when the first trailer debuted, she posted that same day the Oppenheimer poster, because she's in that film as well. Nothing about the trailer. She's since shared the poster, I believe, but then there is additional conversation around the fact that she has been upset since filming the movie because that's where Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde struck up their relationship. So apparently they were always like canoodling and shit on set, and Florence didn't like that. Florence Pugh is apparently only doing the press at the Venice Film Festival, I believe this weekend. And because today it started today, and White Noise just premiered there tonight. The review I read on Deadline said it was really smart. But anyway, yeah. It's a really interesting story. Apparently, she's not going to be doing any more press. Warner Brothers is saying this always was the plan because she's in Budapest filming Dune Part 2, and that she'll be doing some videos and stuff from there. But it's just very, very odd all around. And I'm really interested to see the video and the images that come out of Venice. But what do you think about all this, Sean? I guess like your thoughts on the drama, but then also does it taint the film?
There's nothing on here that could really taint the film. I think it could distract from the film. Taint the film is not exactly what happened. That would be like if someone died while filming, or if, there was assaults on set or something like that was happening, which, unfortunately has happened in movies and everything. Yeah. If something like that were to occur, that would taint this. Now, this is drama, and this is going to be talked about, and it does unfortunately distract. Like, people are going to talk about this instead of the movie, which is a shame. Eventually, they'll talk about the movie, and eventually, no one will think about the drama. I just can't believe this is a situation where we ended up having Shia LaBeouf be right on something. That can't be good. That's just like that. That's not the power that guy needs. Like, he just got an offer. He just got an offer to be in Francis Ford Coppola's new movie,
Megapolis.
So already it's just like, oh, this could be like the redemption of his career for the freaking like. It is something where it's just like, this guy's still got like assault charges out. I don't think investigations have closed, and even if they have, it's a little bit like sketchy, like in the way they did. So it's not great. In terms of the Florence Pugh stuff, it does seem pretty like legit that like, oh yeah, she's filming Dune, so that's why she can't do any other press. And so, people might just be jumping on that, for those reasons. And yeah, stuff can sometimes like carry on momentum and, get to that situation. But her outright saying, I'm not doing any more press does make it worse.
To be clear, I don't know that she said that.
Oh, okay.
It's the article that a lot of this was based on. And I was talking to Gaius from G Reels about this. And one of the article that came out from the Wrap, and this is not a knock on the Wrap, I like them a lot, but it did kind of make a leap. It said like they asked questions. I don't know if it was like they didn't get feedback, they didn't get a response, but essentially like it was she's doing press for this, and she has no other press planned, and they took it as she's not doing any.
Okay, so yeah. It seems like dots are being connected that are plausible dots, that are very plausible connections, really plausible connections, but they are still like not truly clear as the connections. I think a lot of this could be true. I think there's a lot of drama on there. I think it's, a little bit weird, like, director and like someone in a relationship that, by it starting there is a little bit tricky. Like it's not the first time something like that's happened, but I guess it's a little bit tough to, go through all that. I really do think like, I don't think this helps the movie at all. I was talking with Sam about it, and she said, like, I think it's all fake, and this is like the drum of publicity. And I'm like, well, that would be interesting, but it doesn't really seem like in this case it's going to be anything of that nature.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, to be quite honest. I'll say this, that it doesn't make Olivia Wilde look good at all.
Yeah, she's the toughest one out of this whole thing.
Yeah, and especially when all the stuff's out right now, like about how about her divorce and the custody battle and all, people were on her side when she got served at CinemaCon and all this stuff going on. It's just very, her public image is taking a hit over all this. And it makes you wonder sort of what other stuff that has been floating out there is true. That's the unfortunate part of all this. I don't really know what to make of it. I think the two things that I'll say, one is that in any other industry, if the manager or the boss is canoodling with one of the employees, that's a problem. And that does create an atmosphere that is uncomfortable to people. So to turn around in Variety and say that she was focused on creating a safe space, and to be this like feminist, individual in all of the interviews that she's doing, but then on the back end is begging Shia LaBeouf to stay and sleeping with Harry Styles on set, like that just kind of bothers me.
It's sort of an unprofessional thing. I mean, if like a relationship blossoms on set, it's a little bit tricky with a superior, especially. But if a relationship does blossom on set, it should be like kept private until such time as it's professional to have it come out. And this seems like it was a situation where people were like left to be uncomfortable while filming, which distracts things and could possibly make for a poor product. And hopefully people were professional enough to get things done, but it's tricky.
When you have to rely on people to be professional and get things done, when the manager or the director in this case
everyone else, meaning you guys,
not the people
in charge, not the lead actor and the director. No, they can do whatever they want, but everyone else should be professional.
It's not a fantastic situation to be in, but a potential fantastic situation is that Matt Shakman, the WandaVision director, has been attached to the Fantastic Four film. But the flip side of this is he is leaving the Star Trek film, Star Trek 4, which, can we just take a second with Star Trek 4?
It's not getting made.
It was announced out of nowhere last year, remember? And then like they talked to Chris Pine and he was like, news to me.
All of the actors had no idea. The entire cast had no idea.
And I went back to look a little bit, and apparently there were stories back around June of this year that there were that a script was finalized and all this. Maybe it was announced earlier this year and I'm just getting like time messed up. But anyway, there is a script. Apparently it's out there. Who knows what the hell's going on, but Matt Shakman has left that film and is in talks reportedly to take on Fantastic Four. So the one question, Sean, is what do you think of this pickup as director? But then also there's a couple other rumors that are out there about casting. The Penn Badgley as Rita Richards casting has popped back up again. Rumor for casting has popped back up again. There's a long list of people that have been rumored for Sue Storm. Of interest to me, Vanessa Kirby was tapped on that list yesterday. I saw somewhere Seth Rogen for The Thing, which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, I like Shackman for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did with WandaVision was this great, fun, creative situation. He seems like he's a Marvel darling, so I think that he could have some fun with this. And, hey, Reed Richards was almost in WandaVision. Or, no, he wasn't, but we all thought so. But it would have been very nice to, it's going to be very nice to see him in that. Star Trek is just not being made. Star Trek 4 is not being made. They haven't gotten the cast. They've just announced it before the cast is ready. They're going to have something weird on Paramount Plus, directed by Kevin Smith.
It's supposed to go into production later this year.
That's not real. That's not real. Then again, I didn't think Avatar was going to get finished, and hey, maybe it still won't. But
you know who they should grab for Star Trek? The Batgirl directors.
Oh hell yes! Oh, that would be so great.
And I don't want to butcher the names, and Bilal Falal and Adil El Arbi.
Yeah,
Adil El Arbi. Yeah, I think they would be fantastic. Sorry,
it'd be really good. I would dig that. Yeah, it would be interesting. It would be quite an ambitious thing for them because they are really great with this very modest action.
Mm-hmm.
This would be something a little bit more high-tech space, bigger sets, stuff like that. So it would be a really cool thing. I like that idea a lot.
And a cool touch for the fourth Star Trek,
Yeah, something different. Because, that's what was cool about, Justin Lin doing Star Trek Beyond. And that's what I really like Star Trek Beyond because it, took a turn away from a dark edge, Into Darkness was, because that one was. But so I'd love them, do another turn with that and have some fun. But yeah, I mean, I'll also in response to the rumors and stuff like that, I can't do it anymore. I can't speculate anymore. I can't say, hey, this guy will be kind of cool. This guy, I need to find out who these four freaks are. Put the freaking cast together.
Who these four freaks are.
I'm not doing any more damn rumors. I'm done with it. Ugh.
Well, we're going to talk about more rumors here as we shift gears to I don't even have a good transition here. DC is still a thing with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is struggling to do anything right now. Going back to the "Don't Worry, Darling" thing, poor Warner Brothers, they can't fucking catch a break.
Oh God, yeah, on all corners.
DC has delayed Shazam! Fury of the Gods to March 17th, 2023, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom to December 25th, 2023. The Flash still is in the summer of 2023, and reportedly they had a conversation with Ezra Miller recently, and they who knows what came of that, but essentially it was like a writing the ship type conversation. But actions speak louder than words. Not to be cliche, but
all I want to do on this godforsaken earth is watch Aquaman. I want to see Aquaman.
That's a long delay too.
It's a really long delay. I was so upset. It is more than a year until this damn movie's gonna come out.
So let's chat about the rumors associated with that.
Oh, good. Oh well, I mean, I know one. It involves snipping a bunch of scenes of a certain actress, I'm assuming.
No, that actually, I think people have kind of moved on from her for now. Shockingly. But apparently take this with a huge grain of salt. This started going around the internet today that there's rumors that The Flash is, while it went back for reshoots recently, that it is actually being rewritten in some spots, not just the ending, but other parts of it. And then there are rumors that is carrying over to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Probably something to do with whatever direction the new 10-year plan is going in. But
just make separate films. I don't like DC. You're not going to connect your movies anymore. You're doing a bad job at it. Just make separate films.
The thing is, they could have.
They could have.
Back in the day, they could have.
Done though. It's done. They can't do it anymore. They're just Aquaman is his own guy.
He's his own guy. There's also that report out that they regret releasing the Snyder Cut, and people are running with that. And I understand why they say that because it furthered the division. I totally understand that. I still like the movie. But Brandon, welcome back. We're talking about DC.
Yeah,
that's his thing. Is that the Snyder Cut?
This is the Snyder Cut. Sorry, there's a movie that we're working on at work, and one of the people on set were like, "Well, we just want to make sure that we just get our gear list in order." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got it." Well, just making sure that the insurance is good. Yeah, we got it. So that's the life of making movies. Talking with producers and gaffers and key grips, and making sure that You know what's something that you'll learn if you go on a film set? Every single department thinks that they are the most important department to get the film made. Sound people think that they're the most important. Camera, lights, grips, crafty, everybody.
Yeah.
They all think that they're the number one. I think it's the ego of being on a film set.
Is it Zack Snyder's Justice League too?
No, it's not
Fuck.
that.
Is it Aquaman? Are you guys the reason it's taking forever?
No, they won't give Aquaman to me.
Well, with all this that's going on, the delays and all that, there is talk out there that DC has found, or Warner Brothers rather, has found the person that it wants to lead DC. And this is really out of left field. So the report that we're talking about tonight says that his name is in the mix. And that's kind of where I think this is all settled. Not that he's the guy, but it sounds like he's one of the strong contenders here. So of course, DC or Warner Brothers has been looking for a Kevin Feige type, is the way they've been saying it. And Dan Lin is the name that is being thrown around here. He is best known for the It franchise, meaning the two films, It Part 1 and Part 2. And I think he probably has a hand in on the Welcome to Derry prequel that's coming down the road. The Sherlock Holmes film with Robert Downey Jr., the Lego franchise, and then even Aladdin. And in one of the articles I read, I didn't realize that Aladdin crossed $1 billion. So that's kind of fucking crazy to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's
right?
more successful than the animated one.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
That's kind of sad.
That bums me out. Yeah.
I like it's sad that it did better than the animated, but I do like Aladdin, the live action. There are other rumors. The other names that are being thrown around. One was Todd Phillips, but I don't see Todd Phillips doing that.
He doesn't want to do that. He wants to still create.
Yeah. The other he wants to still create. The other one was oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but the one Greg Berlanti, who seems a little too teeny bopper for me with some of the.
He's the CW guy, right?
CW guy. He did like Love, Simon and a few other films. Just not. I don't know. I don't think he's the one for this.
I don't love that.
So this is a wild pick to me, but obviously they saw something that they really like and they need someone, or they want someone that's going to guide this forward. Brandon, any thoughts on this at all? Do you think they need someone like this to come in, or what?
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask about that, which I'll get into my my rant later, which is all about just fandom. And how all I really look at is just each individual movie. If it's good, if it's not good. I know that for at least when I was following the MCU and I was watching the DC movies, it definitely did feel like Marvel was leading up to something, whereas DC was like, well, I guess we'll, try to make Suicide Squad more like Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess we'll try to make Shazam more like Fantastic Four and the old Spider-Man movies. I guess we'll have the Joker, which is a completely separate thing. And so it definitely doesn't feel like it's cohesive. As somebody who just watches movies and it's not like a DC enthusiast or anything, but we're both hockey fans. We know what a good general manager can do to a hockey team, and just knowing the direction of a team or a franchise and trading out players and everything like that. So I think that if you have one person at the helm who has a clear vision, I think it can help. But they got to surround themselves with good people.
I'm just interested that it's this guy that came out of nowhere that they're thinking about moving forward with. Such out of left field. Sean, what did you think about this report?
I don't know much about this guy, and this is the kind of situation where you're not going to know if this guy does a good job until 10 years from now if he's in that chair, because it's such a tricky job to pull. It's like you're master of this, what's going to be technically a multi-connected universe. We have to just face the facts that what Marvel did was a miracle in the first three phases. It just was that. Even with their bad movies still managed to connect properly. So it's a really tricky thing to do. I've sat here a million times, though, I think, and said, what DC needs is a literal, what they said, is a Kevin Feige type character. And so when they said it, I was like, hey, look at me. I'm like DC. I could be running the place. But I think that, it's a tough job. It's a tough job to start here and get to here. You're coming in like Troy Barnes with the pizza boxes in that GIF where he just comes in and everything's on fire. And then that, whoever it's going to be is going to sort of have to, handle something that's already having quite a bit of issues. And so it'll be tricky. There'll be triage and then eventual leadership, I think.
Here's hoping. It's just, I think the most fascinating thing is that they have a ton of DC movies on the slate already. When you look at Shazam coming, you have Black Adam at the end of this year, you have Aquaman at the end of next year, you have The Flash, you have Blue Beetle next summer, which they haven't talked about at all. And there's only been one DC film that's been greenlit since the merger, and that was the Joker sequel. So it's kind of fascinating. I mean, they have taken a step back if you look at it that way. I'm just wondering if they're ever going to pull it together. I don't know. It's stressful. Stressful to me as a DC fan. Last story for the evening. This is one that came out of left field for me today, and it really makes me fucking laugh. But did you know there's been 7 Bring It On movies? Or there's about to be 7. This is Bring It On, Cheer or Die. It is a slasher Bring It On cheerleading film starring Missy Pyle, Carrie Metters, and Sierra Scobie.
Yes.
And essentially, it just tells the story of high school cheerleaders who, quote, start getting picked off one by one after deciding to practice some cheer routines in an abandoned school. What the fuck?
This is actually that's pretty brilliant. Honestly, I love it.
Pyle is the angry school principal.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Like, come on. Like, are you kidding me with this? Like, this is a sci-fi original movie. Why am I excited about this? But you're gonna make Missy Pyle an angry principal? I'm so freaking in. Oh.
One of my favorite parts about this story is that the story came from Allison Faust, and the script was written by 2 others. But Allison Faust has worked on other Bring It On films in the past. So she was just sitting there going, we're going to do a slasher one day. We're going to turn it into a slasher. Watch us.
I don't know if sitting there and doing it. I think it's just kind of like, shit, we need to make a 7th one. What do we do? Have we killed them? Nope, we haven't killed them. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, the good news is this is going to sci-fi this fall. So, the quality is going to be high up there.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Brando,
I don't think I'll see this, but I'm so excited.
You're going to see it. I'm going to make you watch it. 2000 was when Bring It On first debuted with Kirsten Dunst and Eliza Dushku and Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union has recently said that she would be down for coming back, which Gabrielle Union hasn't really been doing much. So I feel like that always happens later on in careers. We're like, yeah, I would love to go back and do what I was famous for. But we also got Bring It On Again, Bring It On All or Nothing, Bring It On In It to Win It, Bring It On Fight to the Finish, and Bring It On Worldwide Cheer Smack.
Yeah.
The original one, were you a fan?
Oh yeah. That is a movie that I when people say what's your guilty pleasure, I normally would go with Bring It On only because it's just not, I'm not in the demographic. Clearly not. But it's a fantastic movie. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was like one of my first reviews I did on the channel. Don't go looking for it. It's like I'm like rail thin, and I'm just like holding the DVD, and like I have no confidence on screen, and I'm talking about it. It's been like one of my favorite movies ever. Honestly, it's a fantastic. I have just this weird nostalgic love for like the Y2K era of movies, from like Clueless to Mean Girls and everything in between. American Pie, 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That. Even the ones that aren't very good, like Drive Me Crazy. Bring It On fits right into that, and I thought it was fantastic. I never saw any of the sequels. I remember I saw like the ending of one on TV where like Rihanna, like when she was just starting her music career, she was a cameo in it, and I think like one of the villains like dropped the N-word or something, or something like just blatantly racist, and everyone's like, oh, and she's like, no, you do not say that. So I was like, this is just awkward, and it was on TV too, so. That's the one thing I remember about it, but I haven't seen any of the ones since. I haven't kept up with that franchise like American Pie. That's the franchise I actually did keep up with, except for the girls one. Like there's like a girls American Pie movie that came out like a year or 2 ago. I saw it in Walmart and I'm like, bitch, am I in an alternate reality or something? Like I didn't even know it came out. So, in terms of it having like a horror twist, I immediately went to like Freaky. That came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And when I saw that movie, I didn't think it was fantastic, but I felt like, you know what, this movie I feel like could have that kind of cult following, and movies generally that are around a certain holiday like Halloween or Christmas, like there's a reason why it's almost guaranteed to keep popping up every single year. So like, well, what's a movie that we can watch around Halloween time? Freaky. And maybe they're hoping that, with Bring It On, they might be able to try to do that, because the franchise has been old. I could say that it's dying. Like Muppets did the same thing last year with Muppets Haunted Mansion. Now we have a new movie every single season. So I think they're trying to get into the seasonal marketplace. And in terms of the older actors coming back, you know, nostalgia is in. We've had the Spider-Mans come back. We've had the Friends reunion. Why not bring back Kirsten Dunst? Bring back everybody.
Bring
Why
it
not?
on. Seasons.
Bring it
cheers.
on. Yes.
Seasons cheers.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
God.
no, this is
My name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic.
Oh my God.
Brandon, look how different.
I
you
I
really
remember
went
you-
for the below
I
angle,
remember you're
too.
stealing me that way.
Yeah, well, that's my old house.
Especially a teenage comedy. I just run out of things to say. So
Oh God. You know what you can tell? I'm just looking at myself and going, dude, eat a fucking hamburger. Just eat something. So like I was a very skinny, scrawny kid, and then when I got super tall, like I got to like 6'8" in high school, and I was rail thin. It was bad. It was bad. And like looking back now, like my shoulders, it's brutal.
I think the best part is when you were saying when you're talking about like don't look up that review. I just look over right at Joe's face.
Oh.
And there's just the shittiest shit-eating grin ever. And like I see the typing, I see the mouse moving. I was like, he's ready.
Oh, I was just looking off into the distance. I wasn't even paying attention. But I mean, hey, it's out there. Like you got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. But 5 out of 5, huh?
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for Bring It On.
good characters and a lot of laughs. And this film delivers. 5 out of 5.
Hey.
Man,
Jesus.
I think I took down my first videos.
Oh,
but
I'm just looking at my shoulder. I'm like, dude, there's gotta eat something. Put some fucking meat on your bones. Yeah.
Sean, Cheer, or whatever this movie's called. I don't even remember what it's called now. Bring It On / The Cheers.
Cheer
something.
or die.
There you go. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, like I don't know if it's gonna be like this, like sci-fi movie, like TV movie. I don't think I'd take too much stock in it. It could be just fun, stupid crap, and like it may be something fun to watch on Halloween to make fun of. I'm psyched for Missy Pyle. I don't know why, like all of a sudden that got me so psyched. But Missy Pyle being the angry principal, that's just gonna be like so much fun. But all right, I'm calling it right now without even seeing the movie. She's the murderer. Boom. She's the murderer. That's it.
What
That
has
has
she
to be
been in recently?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you anything she's in for some reason. I can see her, but I cannot tell you what she's in.
She was the mother of not Violet, of one of the kids in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Galaxy Quest, bringing down the house.
Galaxy Quest. She was the alien. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She was in Ma.
Oh, she was in Ma.
I love Ma. That was
I
just
still
on
haven't
recently.
seen Ma. I gotta I know Ma is one that I heard is just absolutely amazing.
Oh my god. Such crazy stuff. Like it's amazing to me that these old films, these properties, while it doesn't surprise me when they go straight to DVD and stuff, but the fact that like sci-fi is getting it to make a horror movie and just completely like alter what the original film was is just kind of interesting to me. But 2022, that's what we do with films.
It is wonderful that it got to sci-fi. Like a Bring It On movie is on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's a blast. I love it.
That's a journey. That's an Eat True Hollywood story right there. Rants and raves we always end with. I'm going to start with a short one, no pun intended. Short films. I have long been a fan of short films, but I did cover the Holly Shorts Film Festival recently, and this is an Oscar qualifying festival. I had such a great time with it, quite honestly. It was there was a lot of different content there, anything from PSAs. So there was one called Embarrassed that was about pancreatic cancer in Black men and how 1 in 4 will get pancreatic cancer and 1 in 22 will die. And it had Idris Elba and Morgan Freeman, but just really well done, really impactful. There's another short film called Thoughts and Prayers starring Adrian Palicki as well as Zachary Levi. Where they're both senators and it's about gun control, but Adrian Palicki is just absolutely fantastic in it. She is a senator whose son calls her from the school when there's an active shooter, and it's just really powerful, really a strong film. The best one that I watched is an LGBTQ one, but it just really impacted me. And I spoke to the director recently and really kind of felt how he put his own experiences in there. But it's called Too Rough, and it's essentially a guy and his partner go home drunkenly to his the house that he lives in with his homophobic and alcoholic and drug riddled family. And it's just really, really, really powerful. There's a couple scenes in there like that I just burst out crying, not laughing, burst out crying at. Oof, slip of the tongue there. But it was just really good. And I think what I walked away from this festival with is just the power of film in general and how there's such strong projects out there for that some are just 7 minutes, some are 5 minutes, some are 15 minutes, some are 25 minutes. But it's just really cool to see filmmakers I can't talk today, flexing their muscle.
Flatulent.
It's great to see filmmakers flatulent. And then keeping an eye on like where they're going to end up later on, because a lot of filmmakers end up getting tapped from their short films. So this is kind of the proving ground. So I just really enjoyed it. I highly recommend if you ever have an opportunity to catch any of them. The Holly Shorts Film Festival is each year, and this is a really solid one. Sean.
Yeah,
I read this and I knew exactly where you were going.
I'm getting so pissed about this. This is
August
my
narrative.
rant. The August. I have a fun little title for it. The August narrative. Because every August, pretty much what happens is everyone's like, theaters are gonna die. No one's going to the theaters anymore. And it's one of those things is no one's going to the theaters anymore because it's August. Few theories about this that we got to bust. First of all, no movies are really released in August. I'm thinking about the movies I saw. I actually saw a lot of good movies, but they're just not popular movies. They're not big movies. They're not stuff that people are going to rush to see. Now, like the reason why, pretty much everyone goes on vacation in August. All right, that's when like summer schools end. That's when summer camps end. So pretty much like everyone goes on vacation in August. People are getting ready for school in August. People are going off to college and stuff like that in August. And so, no one's really going to the movies in August. Now, there's other months like this, obviously. January, straight up dumping ground. But even January has like one or two that like burst onto the scene. Same with February. And then March is like kind of when movie summer starts. Ridiculous to say, but that's just the case in it now. And so January and February are there's an occasional bright spot where something comes in. But I just hate that people need to accept sometimes there's bad months for movies. And August is always one. Just recently in the box office this week, it's hysterical. It's just like $7 million for The Invitation. Now that is atrocious. That is kind of newsworthy, saying it's the worst weekend of all time. I get why people posted that. But the context of it needs to be, this is like the time where no one goes to the movies and no movies are released. It would be interesting if something could be released now that would be a little bit interesting. It would have been interesting to see if 3,000 Years of Longing would be released in January, because I don't think they expected an awards play on it, and to see if it would stick out a little bit more there. Yeah. But in this whole thing, it's always, first of all, theaters are in trouble. Yeah, no one goes to the movies. Yeah, the only movies people go to are comic book movies and stuff like that. And so the other stuff is either going on streaming or it's pretty much disappearing. And yes, that is all true things that are happening. But people are just like, the death of movie theaters every August. I hear it every August, and it's just kind of like, no, that's just what August is at this point. But it's gonna be fine once September. We got the award season stuff coming out, and so that'll brighten everyone's day. We'll go from there. But
I wonder with 3,000 Years of Longing, which I always call a different number to start with. I'm wondering if they really were trying to gauge whether it was going to have an awards run, because I remember I saw it 2 months ago. Yeah. And they did the press so early. I wonder if they were hoping that they would get good feedback early on.
I mean, it went to Cannes, and that means something. I mean, normally you'd do Venice, TIFF, all those instead for something, but Cannes is one where people get involved in it. But I don't know what the deal is with August. I think if you put a Marvel movie in August, what would happen? I'd be very curious to see. Would it die? Would it be interesting? But
Guardians of the Galaxy was in August, wasn't it? Wasn't it August 1st?
Exactly.
Or the beginning of it, yeah.
Yeah, because this is where I start to get a little bit August 1st, exactly. One of those things where. But you're right, that was an August movie, and I remember that. Everyone made a big deal about that. A movie in August did well. This was 8 years ago, and people were talking about that.
Yeah,
and because August movies never do well. It's the weirdest phenomena. But I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when Winter Soldier came out, and people were talking about how it's Marvel is now pushing the summer movie month till April. This is a big. I remember Grace Randolph was all crazy about it. And even then, I'm like, what? That's crazy. But I don't know. Like, you have Scream that came out in January.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, I mean, like, there's always there's no exact science to it. I mean, Titanic was supposed to come out in the summer, but then they kind of had to re-edit the movie, and then they put it out into the winter, and then that was like a box office gold mine. So then you find out, like, well, if you release a movie like right at the beginning of school season, it can actually be pretty good. Like, I remember when Taken 2 came out, like, it was actually a pretty big box office hit.
Yeah.
Even though.
Well, then you get like Bad Boys for Life in January. That was huge. And the big one that I always talk about is Get Out. Get Out was in February, and that was that almost won Best Picture.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind of nuts.
You know, it's kind of funny too, because, you know, pushing to April, I just was thinking this summer about summer blockbusters, right? And the biggest summer blockbuster to me this year came out in May, and that was Top Gun Maverick. And you also had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in May as well. Granted, they were hoping that Thor would be a huge hit, but Doctor Strange had some really good legs as well. So it's just kind of interesting that that's how things played out this year.
In my mind, May was always like, I have no backing on this, but it always felt like May was kind of the beginning of summer movie season.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like May 5th, I remember who was this year. But yeah, like that's when like a big Marvel movie would come out like the first weekend of May. I mean, Top Gun Maverick, and then of course was Lightyear in May, or was that in June?
June.
Okay.
But then you have you got like the Avengers: Infinity War, which was I think was like end of March, maybe April, and so people started to say like, okay, summer has begun in March now because Marvel is the one that dictates.
Yeah, Endgame was April 26th.
Yeah.
So
Avengers was April 23rd.
Yeah,
was it really?
Infinity War, I mean. Interesting. You have a rant here.
Yeah. I don't know if it would necessarily be a rant, but more of just like a defeated, like, I don't care anymore.
A statement.
And it's about fandom. And I feel like this is what happens. Now, Joe, I like how we can just roast each other on Twitter, and we're like good about it. When Marvel was posting all of their movies, and I'm like, am I the only one who's just not excited for this? And you go, yes. And I go, okay, that's fair. And I just look at that and I go, like, I'm so overwhelmed with it. And I think that I wouldn't be overwhelmed with it if I didn't have this job. If I wasn't plugged into the collective consciousness of movie fans. And I think that there is now a difference between a cinephile and a fanboy. And I think I finally know the difference, because this summer, I've not seen She-Hulk. I really have no interest in it. But before the first episode even comes out, I think you even talked about this, Joe, how people were posting on IMDb. The only two scores were 10 out of 10 and 0 out of 10. How childish do you have to be? It's about a television series. You know what I mean? So, and then when I posted my review for Prey, I know that I didn't like it as much as you did, and that's completely fine. But like, I remember I said, so I'll let you guys know that I've only seen the first Predator movie and not Predator 2, Alien vs. Predator, whatever. And then people would go, oh, as soon as you said that, I turned off the video because I know that this review would be stupid. I said, well, at least you had time to tell me that. Thank you for that. So it's this amount of tribalism. You're not a Marvel fan because of this. You think this, you can't be a true DC fan. You know, I remember when I reviewed Zack Snyder's Justice League, I said my favorite DC movie was Wonder Woman. And I wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel, but I had a Superman shirt on. It's like, because I like Superman. How can you wear a Superman shirt and hate Man of Steel? You're a fake fan. So to me, it's just, I like good movies and I don't like bad movies. All my favorite franchises, and I don't even like to say that anymore, they all have bad movies. I love Star Wars. There are the prequels and the sequels. I love James Bond. You have some of the Roger Moore ones that are a bit cheesy, and you have the Pierce Brosnan ones like Die Another Day. I love Harry Potter. You have the Fantastic Beasts films. I love Lord of the Rings. You have The Hobbit, and I don't hate The Hobbit, but I love Spider-Man. You have Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. So like every single one of my franchises, because Hollywood and we as a society, we can't step outside of our comfort zone, and we just like the same old thing. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this from a hill. Or like I do the same shit. Trust me. We can't get new things. We have to keep milking the old stuff. I love Jurassic Park. We have the Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, aka all of them. No offense. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. We have the fifth. Like, you know what I mean? So I do not buy into the idea that you have to be like a fan of every single thing. You have to be a part of a team. It's like politics. You're either against us or you're with us. Join us or die. You know, so you can't.
It's chaotic.
It's chaotic, and you know, and that's when I realized that. And it's weird for me to say this as a film critic, and for you guys as well. Anyone says about any movie ever is so arbitrary. Even like an hour before this podcast, someone commented on my Paws of Fury Legend of Hank review. Bro, this is literally the best film of all time. Anything that anyone says is completely arbitrary.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, that's what film is for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm kind of over the whole, you know, on one end, yo, Secret Wars is gonna break the internet. Like oh my god, it's gonna be just nuts. Did you guys see that Daredevil was in the She-Hulk thing? Like, if you're excited, it's by all means be excited. Like the one movie that I'm actually really excited for, is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Oh yeah,
that trailer looks awesome. and maybe it's because of the pandemic when everything was being pushed, and everyone's like, "There's no good movies anymore. What am I gonna do with my life?" And I thought like that too. It's like I wanted to see No Time to Die more than anybody, and I was watching all the movies, and of course they pushed it back, and of course they pushed back Top Gun. And of course, they pushed back, you know, The Kingsman and The Black Widow and all these things. I was looking forward to all these movies. And I think it just made me grateful for the movies that we do have. We have 100 years of cinema. And even me, who's seen a lot of movies, has barely scraped the surface. And I'm sure that any big movie fan on the internet has still only scraped the surface of great films that have come out in the last century. So when a movie comes out, I'm not necessarily like, I remember I was super excited for Tron 3. What's Tron 3? Where is it, right? So I'm at a place now where I don't even like to say that I'm a fan or I'm part of a fandom, like I'm part of a cult. I like good movies. You know, as a kid, I liked Star Wars a lot. Like I'll say these things, but I'll look to next week. What movies are coming out next week? What movies are coming out next month? I know that these movies are coming out. And if Secret Wars or the Kang Dynasty, if those movies come out and I think they're the greatest films of all time, I will sit here and say, guys, I love them so much. And I hope that happens. I don't want to see a bad movie. That's another thing too with fans. They're hoping, I remember I heard this one once. I cannot wait for Fantastic Four to suck so that I can make fun of people leaving the theater. Oh, Jesus. You need to get laid, my friend. You know, so I'm looking forward to the movies coming out. And if they're good, I'll say that they're good. If they're not good, I'll say they're not good. I don't adhere to this idea of this tribal, you know, like I can't go on Twitter without people just going crazy. And like when you were, like Joe, when you posted that guy posting on your Prey review.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do people honestly have nothing to do with their lives?
Correct.
And the thing is, though, you can't change it. So it doesn't even bother me anymore. I'm kind of out of this idea of fandoms. So that's my big rant.
Someone just posted the other day. I did on TikTok my top 5 Marvel movies, and I know my list is different from other people.
What's your list?
I have Eternals at number 5, which is right off the bat going to turn people off.
There, buddy.
But whatever. Which is another
fine.
thing. I meant to comment that. Like, I tend to be the person that has opinions on movies that are different from other people, and I kind of like that, and like that's it goes back to the fact that everyone gets something different out of movies.
Coming to America. I still make fun of you for that one. It's like, how did you give Coming to America a 5?
Did I give it a 5?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
I
enjoyed it.
I wish I could say the same. That's the thing too. When I don't like a movie and someone loves it, I go, I wish I was in your boat. I don't want to see a shitty movie.
Yeah,
I want to love every movie. If I loved every movie I ever saw, though, I'd be a terrible critic.
So I have Eternals, then I have Black Panther,
Okay.
then I have Spider-Man No Way Home,
Okay.
and then I have Avengers Endgame,
Yeah.
and then I have Thor Ragnarok. I love Thor Ragnarok.
That's a pretty standard list with the exception. Eternals is your only pretty unpopular one.
Well, and someone commented, this is the most PC list of all time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's PC about that?
I don't even know what my top 5. I don't even think any of those 5 are in my top 5 either. Yeah.
It's just funny. But it goes back to, like, there are 20 some fucking movies in Marvel. You have a different list? Cool. That's great. And I'm sure Marvel loves that too,
I love making those. I have my top 10 Tuesdays, and I love making those top 10 lists just to watch so many people's brains just melt. How is science the best alien? They get so upset, and I'm like, I just ruined your day for a list that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a decree. Like, you're good, man.
Yeah. Think about this though. If a list of top 10, did you say Alien? Was it?
Yeah.
Like top 10 Alien films can ruin someone's day. Man, that person has got to be unhinged for that to happen. So, I feel sorry for those people.
Well, listen, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. So
there you go. Yeah.
Sean, are you a part of any fandoms?
No. Criterion Channel.
Nice.
Nailed it. All right, this week is kind of a quiet week for theaters, but Lord of the Rings of Power premieres on Prime Video, first 2 episodes. That's another one, Brandon, that people are saying online. Like, people are like, oh, God, this looks terrible. I can't wait to see it fail. And someone else just posted, because I was trying to see if there are any updates or any late-breaking stories. Someone else posted, God, I just hope this is good so everyone can eat crow.
I mean, the reviews are saying it's exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, so this is like something where, because I also didn't think it looked that great. I wasn't terribly excited, but I'm obviously going to see it. And like, now that the reviews are coming out pretty solid, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm very interested.
I think Hugh online just gave it an A++. So you also have Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul in theaters and Peacock. Always a funny title to say. You also have this is one that I really loved last year, Our American Family. It is a documentary on addiction following a family in Philadelphia. It's getting a limited theater release because it is they're trying to push it for long game Oscars. But that's coming to some theaters, I think, in New York and LA this week. So definitely check that out if you can.
I'm curious now that you've said your top 5 MCU movies, I'm curious to know what Sean is. I wrote down mine, but I'm curious what Sean's is.
I have them because I posted this a while back.
Because I think, Joe, we have one in common. I'm
Endgame?
It's Endgame. It's between Endgame or Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'll go with Endgame in mine. So I have one very controversial one, and comic book fans hate me for this.
Thor Dark World?
No. No. Okay. I think this is my order. It could change, but the top 2 and the top 3 are the set ones. So Endgame.
Okay.
Iron Man 3. Sorry. Far From Home.
Okay.
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Infinity War.
Those
are my top 5.
All right, so here I go. 5, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Infinity War. Number 2, Iron Man.
Yeah, that's up there.
Avengers Endgame at the top.
Yeah.
Huh.
Very nice.
Iron Man mainly because Jeff Bridges' performance friggin' rules.
Yeah. Iron Man I have down at number 12. Iron Man 3 I have at number 22.
Oh,
nice.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 I have last at 29.
That's a pretty good solid last.
I fucking hated that movie.
It was such a bad movie.
Yeah, interesting. It's just funny running through this. I will also say that sometimes I'll look at this list and I'll be like, why did I put that there? And I'll shift one or two around.
Oh
It
yeah,
moves
I will
sometimes.
change that as time goes on.
Yeah.
As time goes on.
Should we rank our top DC? No, I'm kidding. All right, Brandon, where can people find you?
Well, my handle for everything is at BrandoCritic, so that's the easy part. The main content is on YouTube, and then I'd say that the easiest way to reach me or to see updates about videos or things that I'm posting, Instagram, Twitter. I'm starting to post some TikToks. Still trying to figure out what I can really post there. Although my girlfriend had a pretty good idea about TikTok, so we'll see if that actually ends up happening. And then, of course, Letterboxd. Letterboxd is basically just for me to basically just log the movies that I'm seeing. Like, I don't really necessarily go out and like follow people's lists and then comment on other people's things. Like, it's fun for me to go through like the diary and go like, oh, what movies was I watching at the beginning of the pandemic? Oh yeah, I remember I watched all that. Like, I watched Pleasantville for the first time and Walk the Line, and there's certain movies that when you think about them as like a certain part of your life, I don't know if you guys feel like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That to me is like, oh yeah, I remember when I rewatched, Rocky when I was 13 years old, and it reminds me of the Christmas of that year, whatever the case may be. Letterboxd is basically just for me to see that, but then you guys can also see what I rate films that I might not necessarily review. My girlfriend's a big Studio Ghibli fan, so we've been watching a lot of those, and I post my little thoughts on there. So yeah, that's where you can find me: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd.
All over. Content everywhere.
Yeah.
Brandon, we always appreciate you coming on. It's always fun. You were one of our first guests, and we hope to have you back moving forward. Our friend from up north. Winter is coming to Vancouver.
Yeah, winter's coming.
I don't know why that just came to my mind right away. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Sean, survived your first week of the kiddos being back.
Getting there.
Getting there. You're still awake, so that's a positive thing for the podcast.
Amazing, by the way.
And then you'll post 4 other things that you watch before bed tonight. But
that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, but we'll talk to you soon. The Guy at the Movies podcast is a joint venture between Math Teacher Movies and Guy at the Movies. You can catch new episodes weekly right here wherever you're listening to this one. Subscribe so you never miss a beat.